submission before the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. I wish to now present the memorandum of my office on the audit of our council for the financial year ended 31st December 2021.
Just a guidance, Town Clerk. The way we proceed is you read the query. You are on paragraph 16.1, budget and income. Then you go to A, budget and income. From there, you just go to the cause of query, which is management response. So you don't read everything there, you just read the query and then you go to the management response.
I'm well guided, Chair.
Please.
As indicated by yourself, we are appearing under paragraph 16. Query A is on budget and income. During the period under review, our council budgeted to receive grants from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to generate funds from various sources.
Sorry, Town Clerk. My guidance was you don't read, you just read the heading, budget and income, then you come to the cause of query.
Chair.
Please, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As guided, budget and income, cause of the query. Our management wishes to state that it did not manage to operate at 100% collection efficiency due to underperformance in certain budget lines. This was mainly caused by the effect of COVID-19 pandemic, which affected the business communities in Chinsali, including Kakula Guest House owned and operated by the council. On the action taken and remedial measure, Chair, I wish to report that the table on page 2 highlights actions and remedial measures to address any further reoccurrence. With the guidance, Chair,
Please
I wish to
go ahead.
I wish to proceed to Serial 1, local taxes. The action taken by management is that community sensitization has been undertaken through radio programs and public address notices. Further, we have encouraged property owners to come and make part payments for the monies that they owe. As at 31st December 2022, the council collected a total of 542,340 kwacha 82 ngwe. Further, our council has been in touch with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development over Tazama Pipelines Limited, which owes the council in excess of 1,609,511 kwacha 20 ngwe as at 31st January 2023. We wish to refer to Appendix A1 in support of this action taken. As a remedial measure, the council has undertaken the timely distribution of bills, and further, we've undertaken massive sensitization to residents on the importance of paying rates. Citizens are further informed of the flexible payment plans available, and this sensitization, Chair, has been undertaken with the support of USAID under its local impact governance project. Lastly, Chair, as a remedial measure, we are also undertaking the updating of the valuation roll so as to ensure all rateable properties are captured and accordingly billed. Under Serial 2, which is fees and charges, the action taken is that Council has undertaken sensitization of business owners alongside updating of the database. This is in a bid to take into account active businesses and those that had closed due to the COVID-19 effect. As a remedial measure, the Council has formed a task force on revenue collection, whose role is to ensure that business owners are encouraged to pay in installments for those that cannot pay at once. Under licenses, Chair, the action taken is that the Council has updated its database to take into account businesses which could have reopened after the COVID-19 pandemic eased the business environment. As a remedial measure, the Council shall base its budgeting in future on the updated database, and where possible, budgets will be adjusted. For Serial 4, which is levies and permits, Chair, the action taken is similar to that of licenses, where we've undertaken the update of our database to take into account the businesses that have been reopened after the COVID-19 pandemic effects. As a remedial measure, Chair, once again, the Council will base its budgeting in future on the updated database, and where possible, budgets will be adjusted. Serial 6, commercial venture. We wish to report that the action taken by management is that the Council is renovating its lodge to make it more attractive to members of the public. And currently, the wall fence, the perimeter fence for the lodge is at 60% complete, whilst works for the interior part of the lodge are at procurement stage. As a remedial measure, the Council is undertaking that it shall base its budgeting in future on updated data, and where possible, the budget will be adjusted. Under national support, that is Serial 7, as an action taken, management has revised the figure of the Local Government Equalization Fund as per the approved budget circular from the Ministry of Local Government and Development. As a remedial measure, Chair, the Council shall strictly follow the approved budget circular from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development when conducting its budgeting. Serial 9, on other grants, action taken, Chair, is that the Council has revised the figure of the grant in lieu of rates in consultation with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. As a remedial measure, Chair, once again, we are indicating that the Council shall strictly adhere to the approved budget circular from the Ministry of Rural Development, Local Government and Rural Development when budgeting. Query B, operation of markets, illegal market. Cause of the query: an illegal market had been established in Kabuta compound without the authority of the Council. Action taken, Chair, is that the Council undertook stakeholder engagement through a meeting held on 3rd February 2023 in a bid to sensitize the locals on the need to operate from designated trading places. A site to open up a modern market in Kabuta area has been established, and the funds for building the market have been secured through the Constituency Development Fund, as can be seen from the approval list from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Chair, the minutes of the CDFC meeting held on the 22nd of June 2022 is attached as Appendix B1. As a remedial measure, the Council management resolved to create satellite markets in the developing nodes of the district to prevent the future mushrooming of illegal markets. We refer to Appendix B2, the minutes of approval by Council for satellite markets. Serial C, Chair, is accounting for revenue, failure to collect property rates. The cause of the query is that the Council management wishes to acknowledge the observation of the Auditor General and reports that it failed to collect revenue in amounts totaling 1,080,567 kwacha in respect of property rates as at 30th September 2021 due to a long-standing impasse with Tazama Pipelines Limited, which owes the Council a sum of 1,609,511 kwacha 20 ngwe as at 31st January 2023. Action taken, Chair. The Council management is sensitizing the community and encouraging property owners on the availability of flexible payment plans options, such as paying in installments. As at December 31st, 2022, Council collected the sum of 542,340 kwacha 82 ngwe. Further, Council has been in touch with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and Tazama Pipelines over the matter concerning Tazama Pipelines Limited. We wish to refer to Appendix C1. As a remedial measure, Chair, the Council has commenced massive distribution of bills. Further, we are undertaking the updating of the main valuation roll, and a quotation has been received in the amount totaling 480,000, awaiting approval by the Ministry of the appointment of the valuer and payment of the quoted amount. We have also embarked on a massive sensitization campaign with the support of USAID under its Local Impact Governance Project on the importance of citizens' payment of local taxes to the municipality. Lastly, the establishment of the Task Force on Revenue Collection has helped a lot in collecting on-source revenue. Query D, management of payroll and other staff or related matters. 1, failure to fill vacant positions. The cause of the query is that the Council management was operating at an establishment which was not complete as per the 2012 harmonized staff establishment, without key positions to the running of the Council, such as Chief Internal Auditor, Chief Administrative Officer, Senior Security Officer, Chief Architect, and Chief Community Development Officer. The action taken by management is that the Council undertook to engage the Local Government Service Commission, and most of the identified positions have since been filled, except for that of the Chief Architect. Currently, the Council is trying to balance the source of income with the level of the establishment. Considering the level of the current income, Council cannot manage to pay at a full establishment. As a remedial measure, the Council is in touch with the Local Government Service Commission, and as things stand, the Council is operating with similar officers who are operating in similar portfolio and are able to meet the demand for services as and when they arise. Reference is made to Appendix D1. Query 2, under D, failure to confirm officers on probation. Cause of the query, Council management wishes to report that it was awaiting the Local Government Service Commission's confirmation of the cited officers. The action taken is that the Council, following the observation by the auditor, engaged the Local Government Service Commission, and 20 out of the 22 officers who are not confirmed have since been so confirmed. As regards the 2 officers who are yet to be confirmed, as well as others whose confirmations fall due, the Council is in constant touch with the Commission to ensure that the needful is done. Reference is made to Appendix D2.1. As a remedial measure, following the successful formation of the Human Resource Management Committee at our Council, the Local Government Service Commission has delegated the authority to confirm members of staff falling within LGSS 13 to 18, amongst other responsibilities. Through this committee, the Council is ensuring the timely reporting of human resource matters. For officers falling outside the above salary scales, the Council is in constant engagement with the Local Government Service Commission. Reference is made to Appendix D2.2. 3, overemployment of staff. Cause of the query, Chair, is that the Council was operating with an excess of 3 officers who were paid salaries in amounts totaling 83,499 as sent by the Local Government Service Commission during the period under review. Action taken, the Council management, following the observation by the auditor, communicated to the Local Government Service Commission, and one of the affected officers has since been transferred to Mafinga Town Council. With regard to the other 2 excess staff, management has administratively designated them as clerical officers and moved them to Planning Department to aid with the processing of CDF applications. Chair, this designation is yet to be ratified by the Commission. Reference is made to Appendix D3.1. As a remedial measure, Council management is in constant engagement with the Local Government Service Commission to ensure that the 2 officers are appropriately designated. Query E, procurement of goods and services. The first one is payment of allowances within the normal duty station. Cause of the query, the Council management erroneously paid meal allowances in amounts totaling 67,035 kwacha to 3 officers for activities undertaken within their station of duty. The works were undertaken in places where officers could not go and do the work and come back the same day. Action taken, Chair, is that the Council acknowledges the auditor's observation and accepts a shortcoming. Indeed, Chair, the allowances were erroneously paid to officers that were undertaking works at places as far as 140 kilometers from the Central Business District during the sensitization and formation of WDCs, which deadline was set for December 31st, 2021. Henceforth, Chair, Council management only makes payments in accordance with the set guidelines. And following the auditor's observation, Council management wrote to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development seeking a retrospective authority via a letter dated 7th July 2022. Reference is made to Appendix E1. As a remedial measure, Council has endeavored to ensure that officers pay earnest attention to applying instructions contained in circulars accordingly and to the required detail. Query 2, irregular procurement of receipt books from a private institution. Cause of the query, Chair, is that the Council acknowledges the auditor's observation and accepts the shortcoming. However, the Council wishes to state that books were purchased during the period the Ministry of Finance and National Planning Strong Room did not have stock of books, and such that Council management was constrained to collect revenue. Chair, this was a one-off intervention. Action taken is that the Council wishes to state that after the confirmation by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development that the books have been secured. Council management adhered to the instructions, and books are collected from the Ministry of Finance's strong room. Reference is made to Appendix E21. As a remedial measure, the Council has been collecting receipt books from the Ministry of Finance's the Ministry of Finance and National Planning's strong room. Query F, management of assets. 1, lack of title deeds. Cause of the query, the Council wishes to report that the properties were not on title. Action taken, the Council wishes to report that it has since secured the relevant recommendations for the issuance of title and lodged them with the Ministry of Lands, after which invitations to treat have since been issued, Chair. Currently, Council has 2 title deeds for 2 of its properties, and the acquisition of the other title deeds is being done in a phased manner. Reference is made to Appendix F1. As a remedial measure, the Council shall ensure that any acquired properties are properly titled. Query 2, abandoned tractor loader backhoe, TLB. Cause of the query, Chair, is that the Council wishes to report that the TLB was taken to Mukushi for repair. Action taken is that the Council management wishes to state that it is organizing transport for moving the item back to Chinsali whilst pursuing the company, that is Agricon Equipment, who was contracted to work on the TLB with regard to the missing parts. As a remedial measure, Council will always endeavor to secure all its property and ensure its timely maintenance is done. G, management of local government equalization funds. 1, misapplication of capital funds. During the period under review, the Council misapplied amounts totaling 698,609 meant for capital projects on operational expenses, such as the payment for salaries, settling in allowances, procurement of stationery, and servicing of vehicles. As at 30th September 2022, the funds had not been reimbursed. Action taken, Chair, is that the Council has commenced making payments of the borrowed funds, and so far 150,000 has since been paid back. Reference is made to Appendix G11. As a remedial measure, Council shall work within the allocated funds and employ other strategies to collect revenue in the worst case circumstances. And in the worst case circumstances, engage the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development in a bid to increase the Local Government Equalization Fund. Query 2, construction of a refuse bay at Nambuluma Road Junction. Cause of the query, the Council management acknowledges the auditor's observation that the physical inspection carried out in February 2022 revealed that the refuse bay was constructed using burnt bricks instead of concrete bricks specified in the contract after change of specification without authority due to gross negligence. As an action taken, the officers involved were charged for failure to update the bill of quantities after instructing the contractor to change the material for the wall of the refuse bay. Additional funds paid to the contractor were recovered from the said officers. Reference is made to Appendix G22. As a remedial measure, Chair, levels of supervision and oversight have been increased to avoid reoccurrence of such errors. Chair, currently design reports are now required to justify the nature of interventions being proposed to reduce the issuance of verbal instructions for variation of specifications. As a requirement now, a full report and valuation of bill of quantities are now always attached to the payment certificate before a payment is made. Query 3, construction of a guard post at Council checkpoint along Nambuluma Road. Cause of the query is that the Council engaged Shimab General Dealers Limited to construct a guard post at the Council barrier along Nambuluma Road, which links Chinsali Boma to the Great North Road, which is within a provision of 18 meters road reserve. And the guardhouse had no windows from both sides of the road's directions. Action taken is that management wishes to report that once the structural strength of the building stabilizes, a provision will be made in the wall for an additional window to improve visibility. Further, the Council has enhanced its liaison with key government institutions such as the Road Development Agency to avoid similar errors in the future. As a remedial measure, the Council will continue to engage key government institutions such as the Road Development Agency before any infrastructure of such a nature is built or placed in the road reserves. Further, the design of the guard houses to be erected in the future have been improved to include windows on 3 sides. Query H, Management of the Constituency Development Fund. Chair, with your indulgence, I proceed to page 16, which has the action taken.
Yes.
Thank you,
Please
Chair.
continue.
The cause of the query is that the Council reports that some building materials were not found on site as per the material schedule after the completion of the works. Materials such as 60 iron sheets costing 33,000 at 550 kwacha each, 24 ridges costing 4,440 kwacha each, 85 by 50 bags of cement costing 12,150 kwacha at Nkweto Primary School in Kaunga Ward, and 14 by 420 iron sheets costing 5,580, and 14 by 120 ridges costing 1,680, 14 by 420 iron sheets costing 5,580 at Choshi Primary School in Lubu Ward. As regards the project of the construction by 1x2 classroom block at Nkweto Primary School in Kaunga Ward, the action taken is that the management reports that the cost of the missing material will be recovered from the contractor as they have a running contract with the council. We have since engaged the contractor and reference is being made, Chair, to Appendix H11. We have also, as a council, heightened the supervision for officers tasked with the preparation of BOQs. With regard to the construction of a 1x4 classroom block at Choshi Primary School in Lubu Ward, also, Chair, we are saying that the cost of the missing material will be recovered from the contractor and reference is being made to H22. Further, we have heightened the supervision for the officers tasked with preparation of BOQs. With regard to completion of Vitondo Secondary School 1x3 classroom block, the action taken, Chair, is that the cost of the building materials will be recovered from the contractor. Reference is being made to H32, and we have heightened the supervision for officers tasked with the preparation of BOQs. As a remedial measure, Chair, management wishes to report that the levels of supervision and oversight have since been increased to control the occurrence of errors. Further, during design, reports are now required to justify the nature of interventions being proposed to reduce the issuance of verbal instructions for variation of specifications. A full report and evaluation bill of quantities are now attached to the payment certificate before a payment is issued, and there is strict adherence to standard drawings and BOQs as instructed by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Query I, Management of Liabilities. 1. Failure to remit statutory and other obligations. Cause of the query is that the Council wishes to state that it was facing serious financial challenges due to limited revenue sources. As an action taken, Chair, Council wishes to state that it has started paying these obligations in installments and ensuring that it avoids building future debts. The Council has so far paid 3,254,858 kwacha 25 ingwe with the help of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, as shown in the table below. Reference is made to Appendix 2.1. As a remedial measure, Council wishes to report that it will endeavor to pay the statutory obligations as and when they fall due. Further, The Council will undertake to engage the above institutions in talks regarding the formulation of flexible payment plans. Failure to settle staff obligations. Cause of the query. The Council wishes to report that the inability to settle outstanding staff obligations was due to liquidity challenges. Action taken. Council management wishes to state that it has started paying these obligations in installment and ensuring that it avoids building future debts. The amount of 1,141,958 has been paid so far. The table below shows the status. As a remedial measure,
I think it's the next page. You can proceed. The next.
Thank you, Chair. As a remedial measure, management wishes to report that it will undertake to settle the sums due to its staff as and when they fall due. In conclusion, Chair and honorable members, I wish to assure this honorable committee that the remedial measures as indicated herein shall be implemented in order to improve service delivery to the citizens of the municipality of Chinsali. I thank you for the opportunity to make this submission for your consideration. I now wish to submit my report for further debate, Chair. I submit.
Thank you so much, Town Clerk, for your submission. Honorable members, Honorable Kolala, Honorable.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think my request is just two questions for clarity which should be answered immediately so that maybe we don't get to...
Fine.
Yes. CS.
Town Clerk.
Oh, Town Clerk. Oh, it's a seat. Town Clerk. What is your budget? The salaries and operation budget per year?
Your indulgence, Chair, I can ask Director of Finance
Please,
to give us satisfaction.
Director of Finance. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable. For 2023, our budget for salaries at gross is at 20 million.
How about the year in consideration?
The year in consideration. Let me just refer to the it was at 11,348. This is for personal emoluments.
Then you managed to correct 17,038,400 kwacha. And after correcting this amount, you went and used the money for equalization fund. And the reason you are giving is that you did not have the money to use for other things.
Chair, we quite okay, we corrected this money, but in terms of operation and also paying emoluments, the pressure was too much.
All right. First, Honorable Smumba, just hold on. Hold on. She had raised. Are you still there, Honorable? Oh, on the same? Okay. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Making a follow-up of the same question, because they collected 17 million and the 38,400. Okay? Now, the wage bill was coming to, as you have stated, 11 million, not so. So now, what made you really to borrow that money from the capital projects? Thank you.
Director of Finance.
Thank you. Through the chair, Honorable, the pressure we had in 2021 was the issue of correcting money for service provision. 2021 were hit so much with COVID-19, such that even we were working on a rotation, so it was a little difficult to find money for operations.
Yeah, what are some of the services that you rendered to the community that made you borrow the same money? If you can have the list of such services.
Through the chair, mainly the services that we're giving is garbage collection. Yes, garbage collection, and also works at the markets, cleaning the markets.
Okay, I think we'll come back to that. It's quite interesting. Madam Town Clerk, where are you coming from? Where from which local authority? Is it Irwin Cherenge?
I was at Mansa Municipal Council Chair.
Oh, Mansa. All right. Honorable Nyambose. Oh, yeah. Honorable Nyambose.
Thank you, Chair. Just a follow-up on the same. You borrowed money from capital projects. For the interest of this committee, maybe I've not checked the appendix. Can you kindly share with us the authority that you got to borrow the same capital?
Town Clerk.
Chair, I wish to admit that at the time of borrowing of these funds, no such authority was gotten from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and that is why Auditor General maintained it as a query. But as an action taken as well as remedial measure, Chair, in the month of January 2023, we have paid back an amount of 150,000 kwacha, so that we begin to see that these monies are appropriately spent under capital component. And as a matter of practice now, Chair, is as and when we would need assistance, we are engaging in different avenues to see how aid or indeed relief can be given to the council where we are embattled with concerns, Chair.
Town Clerk, government systems is a regulated system. You confirm having abrogated the regulation, and with impunity, you got the money without authority. You got the money from projects without authority, and in retrospect, that's when you are seeking permission in 2023. Is that the standard that you can take such an action without being authorized? Second is, you are reimbursing and you are comforting us to say, as at now we have paid 150. Don't you think from that period that the money was borrowed, if you had planned properly, you would have paid at once? What was the plan? So those two questions, the big answers, the nation needs to know. The government comes up with the regulations. You officers, you are breaking them. You have no regard for the regulations and for the ministry. You just get the money, we shall pay back. Is that the standard in the local government system, especially for Chinsari? Thank you.
No.
Chair, just an addition on that question. I would assume that the reason it has taken long, like the Honorable has asked, maybe it was because you did not have any intention to pay back till when the Auditor General visited you, that now you decided to think you can pay back. Or maybe you did not know that it was wrong.
Honorable Gatusa, before you come in, Town Clerk, the question.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm just concerned seeing that we have educated people occupying these offices and getting paid doing nothing. I say so, seeing this misapplication, like my colleagues have also lamented, because you cannot touch something which is not yours, especially public funds. And we expect the equalization fund to be used for capital projects. Now, Chair, I just have a few questions for the town clerk and her team. On top of that, they have illegal markets, which I believe they've been taking some revenue from there. And on top of that, they are failing even to collect the revenue because they've already misapplied 698,000. I would say 698,000 kwacha roughly. And now they've paid 150 because February they're supposed to come to this committee. Now, I just want to find out, looking at the council, the town itself, Chinsali is not Vubwi, and Chinsali is not Chiengi, where you can say you have no, you cannot even use your initiative to, to raise some revenues. So what is really the problem that this team or this council is facing, seeing that they've got so much of outstanding obligations, and also they are failing even to control illegal markets. At the same time, Chair, they've got budgets which are, unrealistic. So I just want to know from them, Chair, are they really doing a service to the nation and the people of Chinsali? And what is really causing them to fail to use the initiative or to be innovative, to come up with a method of having some instead of touching what? Chair.
Thank you. Quite a number. Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with the first question by Honorable Nyambose.
Yes.
Admittedly, Chair, I wish to confirm to this Honorable Committee that we did not have authority to utilize the funds that are sitting in the capital account for operational means. Chair, this was done as a result of, I can say, constraints within our ability to meet certain local issues such as the payment of salaries, settling in allowances, and servicing of motor vehicles. Chair, this is a regrettable action, and it is the undertaking of management that henceforth this is a practice that shall not be practiced at Chinsali Municipal Council. And
no, just wait, let finish. Go ahead, please.
And in a bid to remedy this particular error, Chair, we have, as a management, undertaken to pay back these funds so that they are properly applied for capital projects within the district. And as indicated earlier, we have paid a sum of 150,000 kwacha in that regard. Coming to the question with regard to illegal markets the illegal markets in Chinsali district, Chair, I wish to confirm to this Honorable House that we are not collecting any revenue from the people that are trading illegally in Kavuta area, because we are yet to provide them a designated trading place. Only when a designated trading place is set up for them is when we can truly move in and collect the much needed revenue. However, there are some services such as garbage collection that we are undertaking, as well as routine inspection of ensuring that they are trading within a semblance of normality, Chair. Coming to the comment on what challenges the Council is facing, I wish to say, Chair, the biggest challenge we have as Chinsali municipality is the narrowness of its revenue base, coupled with a long-standing understanding by our residents on the need to pay for municipal fees and charges as and when they fall due. As indicated in our memorandum, Chair, we have undertaken the compilation, or really the checking of which businesses are actually operating and which ones are not operating. And this has resulted in us coming up with a database which will help us in projecting what it is that we can collect and what cannot be collected. Secondly, Chair, we have also undertaken several engagements of our residents in terms of making them appreciate the need to pay the municipal fees and charges that are due to the local authority. Additionally, we are also informing them on the need or the availability of flexible payment plans. As opposed to having the entire amount paid in one sitting, Chair, we are allowing them to spread it over a given period. With your indulgence, Chair, I can request Director of Finance to add on to something I may have left out.
Yes.
Chair, the regulation states that if you want to borrow monies that are not meant for a certain purpose, you seek authority from the ministry. The response from the town clerk that the reasons for getting money that they were not supposed to use was because they were constrained, they didn't have where to touch, so they should get. Government now has released huge sums of money in terms of CDF. Is the money safe? Why didn't the town clerk or the management write to the Ministry of Local Government or the provincial local government officer seeking authority to use genuinely to borrow? And they just got money without regard of the law. Is this the standard, or is this going to be permitted? This time, communication error, we have emails. And you can even travel to the ministry. We have a challenge here. We are seeking permission. They don't do that. They just use the money, and they're even telling us after auditors that no, we have even paid 150. What will happen if people have lost fear for rules and the resources that are given for different purposes? Is the money that going to the council safe with this attitude?
Thank
so
you.
I'm questioning
Thank you.
why they couldn't seek permission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you respond, let me allow, just maybe it's going to cover Mr. Manunga, Minister of Finance. I've seen your hand.
Chair, I just want to give credit on this transaction. The regulation does not allow the movement of money from capital to RDCs. The reason why is that capital projects are meant to be completed, and monies for capital projects are supposed to be secured. So even if they have written for authority, there is no waiver in terms of movement of money from capital to RDCs. Variations are only allowed within, if it's capital, it should be within capital expenditure. If it's RDCs, it should be within RDCs. Or movement from RDCs to capital, it's allowed. Or RDCs to PEs. But PEs to operational budgets like RDCs is not allowed. Okay. So basically, I just wanted to make that clarity.
Thank you. Honorable Kola.
Yes, Chair. I will not ask the question whether this council knows what their responsibility is, because I know they know. I just want to ride on the question from Honorable Nyambose. Chair, when you look at this whole thing, and from the explanation the Ministry of Finance has given, it is saddening when I connect with the statement the town clerk has given, where she said, because of the narrow revenue base, who is supposed to create a broader revenue base? Is it the council, or who is going to do that? If they are going to use that as an excuse for them to do what is not allowed, what the issue here is following the law. That's the issue Honorable Nyambose is emphasizing on. Why going against the law? Is it that because they feel nothing can be done?
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Town Clerk, the worry from honorable members, and Honorable Nyambose has emphasized on, is that now that the government actually is giving you more money, a lot of money is coming now into your custody, is this money going to be safe? And is this the way you want to be running the local authorities? Please, you can respond.
Thank you, Chair.
Maybe the missing question has been, what must be done, or what should be done when you abrogate your own rules? We have heard, thank you very much, but you've been around. What must be done when such a thing is committed?
In addition, so that they can see how the people of Chinsali have been deprived, they should also make available to the committee some of the capital projects that the very money was supposed to be done, so that they see that the people of Chinsali have been deprived that chance.
Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to indicate once again, Chair, admittedly, the borrowing of the funds was done in error. And as a result of that, going forward, this practice has not been repeated at the Council. As and when Auditor General reviews the operations from that date to present, to be seen that that practice has not been repeated, Chair. Secondly, as regards what ought to be done, the first step that ought to be done was what I believe management is trying to do. That is to have the monies refunded so that then they are properly
just allow her to finish. Yes, go ahead, please.
They are properly applied. Secondly, as a remedial measure, such a practice should never be perpetrated by the Council, so that we do not have similar reoccurrence of those anomalies. Chair, I wish to...
Chair.
Thirdly, to those who would have broken the rules, what must be done to the officers? Maybe I put it like that. Are you getting where I'm going? Yes, you break a rule. What must be done to you who breaks a rule?
Okay.
Actually, Chair, an addition on that question. At what point, I was looking into this report. When you check here, the Auditor General just cited, the secular and other things. But in this report, you even find they went on and called it erroneous. At what point did you realize it was erroneous? Then you need to tell us what is supposed to be done to the person who do something erroneous.
Honorable members, I think let me guide this way. We have established the omission committed by the Council. We have clearly established that, and it remains unto us. She has said 2 or 3 times that yes, it was done, so it remains to us to make a recommendation.
A different one, Chair.
Yes, please.
Page 1, Chair. Page 1, I want to first, I refer you to the schedule on the sources of funds, that is budget and income. Budgeted versus income and the variance. I will refer you to number 6 there on the schedule, Director Finance, Commercial Ventures. You budgeted to collect 921,000. In the brackets there for the income, you have indicated negative 7,870. what do you mean by this? And on the variance, you have indicated a negative of 928,870. Did you overcollect? My basic accounting indicates that you overcollected or you undercollected. Let me say you undercollected. If you look at the variance, 928. I don't understand what is in the brackets. And then a general question is that, is it an issue of overstating your budget, or it is an issue of failure to have effective means of collecting this revenue that you underperformed in most of the votes? Thank you.
Honorable Ntero,
Thank you, sir. Page 11,
page 11.
the guard post. I'm not satisfied with the explanation. The council did not sign a contract with the contractor. Then it goes to say the council engaged. First, they never signed. Now engaged. When it goes to the explanation, the council says now the structure is okay, it has no windows and stuff like. But I should think it's in the first place, this engagement was not there. If there is the engagement now, do you have the backing evidence? Maybe I would have missed it.
Maybe before you respond, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add to what Honorable was saying, I was just wondering if this project was monitored by the Department of Works. Where were the engineers?
Of course, Vice Chair. It says management did not approve the project. Later, engaged.
All right.
The same you.
Honorable Ntero, just finish.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, now I'm having difficulties in understanding when we have this Chinsali Council Chair has the Director of Engineer or the Building Inspector supposed to check on such projects. Now, what I'm not understanding is when I look at this project and the amount that they're mentioning, I don't think this project even has a toilet. And these are the council who are supposed, this is the council which is supposed to be in charge of environmental health issues, where you have health inspectors. So now, how is this council operating, Chair? You have one, the kind of the project itself, the room, it has not been inspected. A room without also not public convenience, the toilet. So I just I'm failing to understand who approved this project and why the monies were again even paid when everything was wrong with the project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
Town Clerk, those are the queries coming from there because like my colleagues are concerned. At times you wonder that a building like this one would reach actually where it can even be roofed. I don't know whether it was built in the night or it was built when everyone was on leave or something like that. Then we just found it. Because honestly, first is the distance from the road, which was supposed to be 18 meters, is now 12 meters. And then there is no window, and everybody is there. The director, who is the director engineering here? Were you in Chinsari at that time?
Chair, I was not in Chinsari at that time.
Where were you? And your deputy?
I was in Kasama.
In Kasama?
Yes, Chair.
That's where you were operating from?
Yes, Chair.
It was done before you went there?
Yes, it was done before I went there.
So what was your advice after seeing it?
What we have done is that we have revised the design for the guardhouse, and now it actually has 4 windows, which can allow the person who is seeking shelter whenever they need to be able to see what is happening around them. We have also included a separate toilet, which is not part of the main structure itself.
Do you have the attachment on that?
For the toilet, we have not included, but we have included, I think the attachment was not done, but we have brought additional information.
Chair.
Chair,
Reaction.
Chair,
Yes,
now
yes,
it's even becoming more interesting. If they've done that, it means they've added some more money.
The cost
The cost has gone up. And that kind of information, I've not seen it here in the report.
Okay.
So, I
Chair,
don't-
we are missing it. This project, in the first place, management did not approve. So how come this project took place?
Town clerk,
How come the project, out of nowhere, now there's a project, that which management did not approve?
So that's what I was saying. Maybe
Chair, and we've not been given the figure as to how much this project costed. Now we are being told, now we are enhancing the, thank you very much. But in the first place, the things that were done wrong. No wonder Chair insists to say, what should be done to people who just, willingly do things wrong?
Okay, Town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to first and foremost indicate that as a response to the Auditor General's observations, we indicated that Council engaged Chimab General Dealers Limited. As regards the paperwork surrounding this project, I wish to indicate to the committee that there was no contract. However, what was signed or rather issued to the contractor at the time was a local purchase order. Usually, Chair, for smaller projects of this nature that are falling within a certain parameter, it had been the practice that a local purchase order would suffice. But with our several engagements with the Office of the Auditor General, we have found that best practices demand that a contract is then drawn with the duties of both parties clearly stipulated, and where possible, designs are attached as well as specifications of the project. So, Chair, this is what the Council is doing henceforth. But at the time, a local purchase order is the one that was issued in favor of Chimab General Dealers. Further, Chair, when the auditor made my office working with management, we decided to stall this project. As already observed, the toilet that was we stalled this project.
But
Further,
Chair, just there.
You should allow.
It's not there. What do we take? Or was it only my ears?
when I say the word stalled is that we've stopped the project, allowing for several inquiries into the same. So the toilet has not been constructed. Further, the contractor has not been paid for the works that he has done so far, because we are still trying to understand the matters that surrounded the project. Additionally,
How much is involved? Sorry, how much? What is the total amount for this? No wonder we are not comfortable with this. We are not, Chair, totally not comfortable. The amount is not there. You are even adding more things still not adding up.
Honorable, let me ask this way, Town Clerk. The two of you, the Director Engineering seemingly is saying the toilet has been, but what he's supposed to, I think what he's saying, from explanation, Town Clerk, is that the design that you have now done, that's the one that provides a toilet, isn't it? Not that the toilet is there, but the design that you have put now, according to him, that now we are putting the design for 4 windows that somebody is able to see. No.
Chair.
I think
Chair.
give me time.
Yes, Chair. The
I've not
issue we are
given you-
talking about the guard post. The question here,
I've not given
the
you.
guard post,
Yes.
not the toilet.
Yes,
Then
no.
the toilet is just part.
I was
of that.
explaining over the toilet that is insisting that the toilet is there and is not there. I think let's not miss the track. What we are looking for is what the Auditor General queried in this regard. It was the guard post that had no windows. Okay? And that's why we needed the explanations, like all members are saying there's no toilet and this. And then at the end of the day, like you have explained, that no, it wasn't a contract, but it was a local purchase order that you used at first. By then, when you discovered there are all these errors on it, then you contracted somebody. Is that the position?
Chair, the query arose as a result of what the auditors observed.
Yes.
That is the windows not being there and the proximity to the road.
To the road. Yeah.
In my explanation, I was trying to respond on the concern that was raised with regard to the contract not being in place.
Right, yeah.
That is when I clarified, Chair, to say that we, at the time, relied on a local purchase order. And with regard to...
I'm sorry, Chair. Say I didn't
uh,
generate
hon-
this.
Honorable-
May I
Honorable
read?
Honorable Mutelo.
If I may
Just-
read this.
No, just wait for her to finish.
The
then you-
reading, Chair, is Council did not sign
Honorable
a
Mutelo.
contract with the contractor as management did not approve
Honorable-
the project.
Honorable Mutelo,
It was therefore not clear.
I want to manage
It was
I want to
therefore
manage
not
the meeting.
clear how the contract.
I want to manage the meeting.
I
Honorable.
found these things here.
No, whether it's there, but wait. I want her to finish explaining because we want to be getting feedback step by step. Because if you insist, then we are not managing the meeting. He asked at first, so you are trying to explain. Please explain.
Thank you, Chair. As regards the monitoring, I think Honorable Katuta has raised a concern on
Yes.
whether we have staff that can monitor the project. The project was monitored through our Department of Engineering Services, headed by Director of Engineering Services. So following these anomalies, Chair, the said director was charged.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. That's why I said, let her explain. But you insisted. Please
The
give me
said
the
director
answer.
was charged, and the committee's recommendation, the committee that sat to deliberate on his discipline, recommended that he be severely reprimanded with regard to the lack of supervision of the said project. Additionally, Chair, the matter is still an open one because there are...
Mutero. No. That is wrong. Please go ahead.
As regards further action, Chair, in our view, the matter is still open because we have engaged Nakonde Town Council to avail us the services of a quantity surveyor, to
Yes.
avail us have an independent report to quantify the works that have been done. That is when we will deal with other matters with regard to whether the works that have been done are commensurate with what the contractor may be claiming, Chair.
Thank you.
For now, I may rest until there are further
Yes.
clarifications.
Go.
Very
Honorable
much,
Nyambosa.
Chair, for giving me this opportunity, Chair. I'm really, I don't know, touched by the revelations that are coming from the council. Chair, you see members trying to analyze or question this. Is the issue of do we have competent personnel Did we employ papers or employed people who know why they are there? I will start from the local government system itself. What is the council? In the governance system and in our communities, this is the core department, Chair, that coordinates and champions development. You expect to get everything from the council. Engineers, they're supposed to be there. Health personnel, they're supposed to be there. That is the core department. A director of works or director of engineering taking over from another director of engineering. I presume he was qualified with papers. The other person has come. Building a guard's house without windows. Chair. Without provision for the people who will be using it to have a toilet. It had to take external auditors. The contract not being contracted, not being approved, it is going ahead. Chair, when we look at this, I will refer you to another case, if you permit me, on page 3. 4 to 16, page 3. Page 4.
Page 4.
It starts from page 3.
Yes.
Failure to confirm officers on probation. 16 months, workers are working without confirmation. When the law states that within 3 months, they should be assessed and confirmed. Chair, I'm just building up and wondering what type of a local government system are we having in this nation. Now that the monies are going to the councils, even employees who are demotivated cannot be confirmed. 16 of them. When you have directors, you have HR personnel, administrative officers, their duty is to see and monitor the performance and working of their employees. What made this town clerk to take 16 months? And who is responsible for recommending to the Local Government Service Commission? What do those officers do on daily basis that they cannot see that one of their duties is to observe that their workers are recommended for? There are so many. I'll be coming page by page, but I wanted to rest on this one to show you that I think we have issues.
Thank you. I think just like the members, if we quickly go also on page 13, you realize the CDF, yes. Look at the missing materials. Where were the people that are supposed to be doing that? Is it the same person that was charged? The person that is supposed to be checking whatever is happening? Because on every project, materials were missing, and the money is being reimbursed. Mutero.
Of course, Chair, thank you so very much. To start from the charge, thank you, Chair, for guiding to say wait for the town clerk
to finish.
And later on she finished. Have you come with that charge letter to prove that this person was charged? It's here. If that charge letter is there, is this officer the same who was handling CDF project? Because when you go through these CDF projects, there are question marks from the start up to the end. Is this the same officer?
Town clerk?
Yes, Chair, I wish to confirm that the inspection of CDF projects is a mandate of the Department of Engineering Services.
It's just an addition. Is this said officer still at Mansa Municipal Council? Or Chinsaria, sorry.
Chair, this officer was transferred to Kasama Municipal Council in July of 2022.
Or he's coming?
Maybe was that officer transferred in the same capacity?
Or demoted?
Or maybe, you know the system we have in Zambia, or maybe promoted.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair, for that question. The officer was transferred in the same capacity. In fact, interestingly, they swapped. Director engineering that I've come with here came from Kasama, and the one we had at Chinsali went to Kasama.
Thank you.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable Kat. We want members, we want to break soon. We
Okay.
have 13 minutes, yes. We wait, Honorable.
Okay, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Chair, looking at the appendix, I was just following. I don't know if they're appendices or appendix.
Either.
What? Yeah, thank you, Chair. Listening to the report or submission of this town clerk, there's been so much of overpaying a project, and then I can even see on this appendix HI1, where Chief K General Dealers had to write back to the council where they were overpaid by when they were building 1x2 classroom. In the meantime, we've noticed that the materials at the same time were missing at times. Because what we know, we are all members of parliament. The CDF, the CDF amounts when there's mobilization fund, and then when they do that, they start building. Then you give them, you pay as they, by each phase. Now, what I'm not understanding is why is this council so comfortable in, doing wrong things? They take the capital money, they overpay. I've heard of about, if I stand to be corrected, 3 overpayments. How does that happen when you have internal auditors, and you also have people supposed to the treasurer? I really just don't understand. Maybe they should explain as why this council, Chinsali Municipal Council, is busy overpaying, touching capital funds without permission, and we've been told by the Ministry of Finance that according to the regulations or the rules, they are not supposed to, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think there's also some kind of laissez-faire we'll find. I'm really failing to understand why overpaying suppliers. And then,
yes.
After, if you look at this later, Chair, it's dated November, okay, knowing that the auditors have queried. And now it's when they've woken up to say we overpaid. What is going on with the internal audit and the accounts department of Chinsali Municipal Council?
Actually,
thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Actually, what we have realized, one of the things actually we are concerned about with the Chinsali Municipal Council is the weakness in that department, engineering department, because all these things that were, and the director of finance as well are just paying, and like there is no follow-up, there is no monitoring of these things, and we have taken note. I hope Secretariat that when the Local Government Service Commission comes, this particular officer, I think, will be very interested. What he has left, the mess he has created there, taking him to another Kasama, what's the cure there? Honorable Simumba, and then
thank you very much, Chair.
rewind up.
I think, of course, there are a lot of concerns. Yeah. Now, I will just take you to page 4, where there is overemployment of staff. So now, the question, Chair, which I would want to ask the town clerk, how do you intend to treat the costs paid to the employees, looking into account that they are not part and parcel of the establishment of the council? How do you intend? Because I've seen it's like there is 83,499. How do you intend to treat that cost? I thank you, Chair.
Sorry, Chair. For me, I think I just want to have a general comment.
Okay, can we give you at the end then?
All right.
Honorable Nyambose?
Chair, Director of Finance, you didn't respond. I'll be on the first page on the commercial venture, take note. I want you to do that. The one I have, Chair, now is on page 5. Payment of allowances within normal duty station. The council erroneously paid meal allowances in amounts totaling 67,035 kwacha to 3 officers for activities taken within their station of duty. The works were undertaken in places where the officers could not go and do the work and come back. I want you to give me response why you abrogated the regulation or the conditions of service that determined. The other one, Chair, is the procurement of receipt books from private institutions, contrary to the guidelines that you should procure these accountable documents from government printers because of what was happening. The government guided, but they went ahead contrary to the guidance, and without seeking permission, they went and bought, creating a deliberate crisis, and he got the books until when government comes in. The last one, Chair, is the abandoned tractor loader backhoe, TLB, the abandoned TLB that has been...
Whose parts were stolen?
Yes, now it has been abandoned. It was, what term do I use?
It's abandoned. Then.
Yes. It has so many years. Where were the officers even before you went there, TC, to see a public or council property taken to a company that wound up and even now could not go and pick that machinery until this point it has been rendered to be ransacked, if I may use for lack of a better term.
Are you done, Honorable Nyambo?
So that was the last one, Chair.
There is one question you asked where I wanted to add on. Only 67,000 paid to 3 officers. I wanted just to hear how many days. You know, was it just one day and then they go 67,000 for lunch?
Chair, see the town clerk. Where is the director of finances who was handling these matters? We might be asking different people. Where is the director of finances?
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with the last question. The Director of Finance, who was at Chinsali at the time, is in Choma, at Choma Municipal Council. With regard to the question from the Honorable Chair on the duration for which these works were, the monies of 67,000 were paid, Chair, these were for different activities spanning over a month. As indicated in our memorandum, this was for activities pertaining to the setting up of the WDCs just after the general election in 2021, spilling over into January 2022. Chair, we wish to admit that the payment of these allowances within the district was wrong. Yes, Chair, it was wrong. And the step that management has taken following the observation by the auditor is to write to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to see if this expenditure can be approved retrospectively. Additionally, Chair, there have been allowances that are due to the people that worked, and my office has halted or stopped that payment until we can receive feedback from the ministry. This is allowances similar to the 67,000 that was paid. So only when we are given a direction, whether it is to recover or indeed retrospective authority is given, is when further steps shall be taken, Chair. As regards the question on the receipt books from private institutions, Chair, I wish to reiterate that as indicated in our memorandum, at the time when we took the step as a council to procure these receipt books from a private institution, the strong room at Ministry of Finance did not have them in stock. And following in communication from the Ministry of Local Government that The receipt books were so received. We have been undertaking to get them as and when our stock depletes, Chair. My last response was on the overemployment of staff. Yes, Chair, with regard to the overemployment of staff rather, Chair, for this one, Chair, I would beg that we be given an opportunity to engage the Local Government Service Commission, since these monies were paid to them following their appointment by letter.
Yes.
So this matter for us, we believe we seek indulgence of your committee to enable us to engage the Commission on how best the matter can be resolved, Chair. I submit.
Okay. Honorable Mutero.
Town Clerk, thank you so very much. On the receipt books, at what point, or is there any communication between Chinsali and where those receipt books are found, to say now we've run out of receipt books? Was there such a communication? Yes or no?
Chair, but before she responds, just hold on. I want to say that you have indicated to this committee that some of the payments that are due, you have stopped them as town clerk. Are you being assisted by the internal audit system? Why, Chair, I've asked is that no payment can pass, can be signed, can be approved before the internal auditor confirms it, that it is within the conditions of service or guidelines. You cannot pay allowances for officers working from within. It is contrary to the conditions of service. How did the internal audit system approve it and it came to your office? Are you following the conditions of service, or you are using other unwritten rules that you use? Are you being assisted? Do we have a functional audit system in Chinsali Council or maybe other councils? Because these things could be controlled.
Thank you. Maybe before you respond, would want to hear, can you get a comment from the internal auditor over the same? This particular matter, the 67,000, did you see it?
Thank you very much, Chair. Yes, Chair, I saw the payment itself, and it was a management decision which was made because of the urgency which was there for forming the WTCs.
No, but what I mean, yes, I appreciate the activity, but what I'm saying is, what was your comment on it? What was your comment? Because you must have put a comment, say, no, oh, this thing is being done because we don't have time. What did you say on the payment?
On the payment, Chair, at first I questioned it, then I had to discuss with management. And when I discussed with them, the explanation I'm giving is what I was given, so I had to let it pass. And
no,
I think
you see now, the chair through you. You see now,
I'm the only one
through
chair
you,
of this
Chair.
side.
We are winding up. I want to hear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then
The internal auditor in Cabo Municipal Council around 1994, up to 96. I worked there. I was the first ever chief. We had a Mr. Skaonga and Mr. Skazwe. These were internal. The other one was a chief accountant, chief internal auditor, I think. Yeah, the other one was deputy. Whenever would buy anything, no, I still salute wherever they are, those people. It's been years. Nothing went through, even at gunpoint. They chose to get fired. And for you as a profession, it's against your profession ethics. Even Zika, if they're listening to you, they're shocked. No matter what, it's like being a medical doctor. It's the same thing being, somebody who is an internal auditor. You are the gatekeeper of the finances of an institution. You say, this, I'm not part and parcel, find somebody else to sign. So you cannot say when you saw that and you went to discuss, you know very well it was against the rules and the guidelines of the local government. Where on earth would you pay? And if I just wanted to ask now, the question is, how many were these members of staff, and for how many days were they being paid for 67,000 kwacha?
All right, a quick one, Honorable Mutero.
You've been in Chisari for 4 years. How many?
1.5 years.
1.5 years. So thank you so very much. And when some of these things were happening with your own eye, you were seeing, and you would first not agree, stick to your work, then second,
Chair, for every payment, for it to pass through, it has to have a blessings of management. And so the payment in question had the blessings of management.
what is your role? Your role is to see to it whether management has done a right what thing, and you put your comment. The chair has asked you, then you said no. Do you have any evidence where you appended your signature, your comment?
Control of internal audit, please help us.
Yes, the way you indicated that they needed to comment when the documents have come on the internal audit and you query, you put there your right to say these are not there is no secular to back this. Then it goes to management.
To management, yes.
That's where the internal auditor ends.
Exactly.
If management decides to pay,
You
then they'll pay with that comment on.
Exactly.
Then it is out of
That's
his
what I know.
Ask advice. Insist to pay, there's nothing an
They can
internal auditor
continue.
can do. Thank
Yes,
you.
Honorable Nyambos, I
Yeah.
just need
Chair, the local government that I worked for maybe is different from
a
what
short
is
one,
existing.
a short
Yeah,
local
it is
government.
a short one, Chair. Chair, as emphasized by
Controller of the
controller of
internal-
audit, I don't know the local government now. A memo is generated for a payment, for orders or whatever. When a memo is generated, the accounts clerical officers or whichever officers in the accounts will do a voucher. And that voucher cannot go to the town clerk or director of finance without the internal auditor. The internal auditor's role is to check, is it within the secular? Is this payment within the condition of service? Is it meeting all these regulations? For this particular payment, are the officers, whether it's WDC, it's not about the activity. It's about, is it within the regulations that officers are paid when they are within the premises or within the distance that is not permissible. So the internal auditor, when approves, it is when it goes to the town clerk or council secretary, and you look at that. If the council secretary says, no, it is important to be paid, the internal auditor will put a mark, a tag to say, I'm not approving this because of not meeting the regulations. So in this case, we are being failed. No wonder we have overpayments. And these monies look not to be safe in some of these councils because of the weak audit system. Chair, you look at IPCs.
Okay.
By the director of engineering, you overpay. At audit, it was supposed to be detected. So all these problems we are facing, the internal audit system is weak. Monies are being, even these monies that are coming to the councils, I'm beginning to worry my councils, my chair.
Very short. I would want to ask the internal audit, why did you refuse to approve the payment at first You only approved after you negotiated. Thank you.
Internal auditor?
Thank you, Chair. Like I said, when we are doing payments, we need them to be authorized. So I queried to say I need authority for me to go ahead with this payment because I can't see any authority. Then I was provided with the minutes of the management where it was decided to say there is this agency which has come, and they also relied on other councils who were given authority to pay for those who were working outside 50 kilometers. And after getting the authority to say management has actually approved this, that is when I passed it.
Thank you. I think internal auditor, just switch off your if you operate like that, you are getting into danger. You understand? Eh? You are being economical with what you are supposed to do. You are a legal advisor to the finance department. You are a legal advisor. And this is the reason as to why I said you make a comment. When the external auditors come, they will check. They will say, no, our officer was not comfortable. It's not about what the management is telling you, but it's about what you know as an internal auditor. Is this within the regulation that I should pay? Not because the management has given you there is some authority from somewhere. Is it within? Your conscience first should tell you, or your qualifications should tell you, no, this I can't. Not the comments. The management can say everything. Now, let's come back. We have overpayments, all those overpayments. What can you say? You as an internal auditor, what would you say? They are overpayments. And all these payments, you are supposed to have an eye on it. Minister of Finance, in conclusion.
Chair, the officer, the internal auditor, actually played his role. His role is to advise on what has not supported the payment. And because of that, after he does that, the authority to continue with the payment lies with the accounting authority, in this case, who is the town clerk, supported by the director finance. Because the director finance needs to further interrogate the internal auditor's comments and advise the town clerk that they cannot rely on whatever authority that has been given based on the advice from the internal auditor. What we have here is that the responsibility to do this payment lied now with the controlling officer. And they themselves as the controlling officer are responsible for this omission. And they should be held accountable for that.
I appreciate the Minister of Finance, but I don't agree with you. Why I don't agree with you, the first question I asked the internal auditor is, can we see a comment? That's where I want. Yes, he advised, but can I take that he advised without a comment? Even when external auditors go there, they would want to see something physical. That yes, this is what. If he says no, I advise them. Can you take it, external auditors?
No, Chair. We would want some evidence and would have quoted it in our report.
Exactly. So no, actually, the internal auditor, there was this comment that is attached to this. Without that, we still take it that you were compromised. That we can just do an overpayment.
Sure.
And then you can say, let's go ahead.
Yes.
Chair. That's an assumption.
Chair, the worry is you have overpayments.
The worry is you go for
overpayments.
Please. Yes.
We are having overpayments of public resources. And these are not detected by the internal auditor, they are being allowed. This is money meant for the public to provide services, to provide projects. At which point do we have the comfort in the officers, especially it is becoming a trend? You start suspecting that they are giving contracts to their relatives and overpay them. Because a normal system cannot have more than 5 overpayments. Is the system in the council, officers capable of helping this country? Because these are public resources. So this internal audit system in Tisari failed. This is the word I can use, because he was supposed to advise, because the regulations are very clear. You just follow your regulation. You don't follow what the town clerk or council secretary. They tell you let's queue, then you go and let's queue. You don't. I cannot queue because it's against the law.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Kola.
Thank you, Chair. I know we've lectured for sure. But I want to some extent agree with the Minister of Finance, because that's also my belief. When you look at this council, it's like there is no system. Even when there is a system, when the head, when the principal officer is always absent or maybe busy with other things, you will find such scenarios happening. We look at almost everything that we've talked about. We can agree to say if the principal officer was fully involved in this, definitely maybe this will be minimized maybe to half. But what I'm seeing here is that the principal officer must have been busy, maybe not being involved in all these things, because you hear at some point for the guard post, it was even stopped at some point. Meaning that's the time now maybe the principal officer realized to say, we are doing a wrong thing. It was already too late. For me, I feel the principal officer must come to the game. Be involved. Please, seminars will always be there. Be at the station. Work with the team. You are just getting from your responses, we are able to tell that you have the capacity, but you could have been too busy with other things that you find these things happening. When it's too late, that's when you bring in your input.
All right.
Thank you.
Honorable Kola, thank you so much. Witness, I think we have had enough time talking to you. We have picked up whatever we have picked up, but you will still go back. Yes, you are the principal officer. That should not give comfort to the other officers, because each one is employed as a specialized person. You are an expert in whatever you are doing. So when I'm an expert, I must defend my position. I must make sure that within I operate, so that because the first thing, if you are not doing the right thing, you'll be answerable to the principal officer. So we want Chinsari Municipal Council to go and put your house in order. There is something that we have not talked about, although Honorable Nyambose raised about it. We don't know what we are going to do with this TLB. It's missing parts there. Who is going to be charged? You go and just dump government property there, and then you forget. You don't look after it. So at whose cost, those missing parts? So go and put your house in order. These monies that the government is releasing right now, you are the spending agency. The money has been released, and a lot of money is coming to the local authorities. That money should go to the people. If you heard the president that we are removing the money from Lusaka and want to take it down to Chinsari, so that the people, Abena Chinsari, they benefit from this same fund. But if you can have officers that are going to pay themselves, we can contractors that maybe for, if we use the assumptions that are going to connive with the officers and then make the overpayment. 1, 2, 3, 4 overpayments. Is that normal? Maybe once you say, no, I think here there was a problem, and there will be some narration. But now there is no narration, it's just overpayment. Even me, when I'm counting money, I want to give you money. I have 5,000. I should be counting until it's 50,000. I don't mind, I just give it like that. It doesn't work like that. So there is negligence of duty, and that is very dangerous. But not anymore, because like everybody else has said, it's not business as usual. We are not going to do that. We don't want to be seeing the same faces and not, let's meet somewhere we just be, but not where we're coming to answer queries. Not right. With that said, Madam Town Clerk, we want to thank you for making the appearance before this committee, and we want to withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you at this point and allow you to go back to Chinsali as you came. We wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
At this point, you are free to take leave.
Boat cruise or a canoe.
mfunyeni pankondo iyi
ola ine mwana nini
mwene ni chirwani chatwingirira mungandechi.
I'm not your maid. Simina maid wadu.
Chimini nebe bakunkakisha.
What is there to live for here? Njipaya. Hit.
Chilebo kona ule chichupu echi.
Yay! Jambo maji. Langu kalia ngembushi.
Chongo mwatsanga pano panganda.
think your matter of urgent public importance is not well founded and is therefore not allowed. So let's make progress. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 74. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question number 117.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Wacha is asking the following questions. In A, whether all the youth who were under the youth internship and apprenticeship program in Wacha parliamentary constituency were paid their allowances as of June 2022. In B, if they were not paid, why? In C, how many youths were affected? In D, how much money was owed to the affected youth? And in E, when the affected youth will be paid? The answers are as follows. Madam Speaker, in A, the area member of parliament may wish to note that not every youth, intern or apprentice under Wacha parliamentary constituency has been paid their allowances. Not everyone. In B, the ministry is still investigating the cause as why some interns have not yet been paid. Madam Speaker, in most cases, bank details submitted by our interns had errors. Hence, their accounts could not be credited. In C, how many youths were affected? Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member may wish to note that only 2 youths from Wacha constituency have been affected. In D, the total amount for the 2 is 19,500 kwacha, and broken down as follows. We have Shalon Chevere, who worked between January to May, that is 7,500. We have Memizani Mutinta Mirambo from October to May, that is 12,000. The total is 19,500. The last answer in E, Madam Speaker, I wish to note that the affected interns will be paid as soon as the verification process is done. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions, if any. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and Minister. Thank you very much for the provided responses. Minister, in responding to question B, if they were not paid, why? You indicated in your response that your ministry is still undertaking investigations or verifications. Through, Madam Speaker, Minister, especially that there are only 2, as per your response. How long is it going to take for your ministry to undertake the investigations or verifications, especially that there are only 2 young people, not so many? What's the duration? What duration are you attaching to the verification or the investigations? Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Vice President, for coming to Wacha Parliamentary Constituency.
Thank you. Before the Honorable Minister answers the question, there is an indication for a point of order by Honorable Member for Masaiti. Point of order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a follow-up question to the Honorable Minister's responses.
You've indicated it as a point of order. Then you'll be given an opportunity. May the Honorable Minister answer the follow-up supplementary question by the Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In fact, I want to say that we have concluded the investigations. For instance, in the case of the one we are owing 12,500, that's by the name of Mizimani Mutinta. She was, by the time we discovered that she was over age, she had even worked for some time. So the investigation has been concluded that we stopped her from work. So in fact, we are not even supposed to give her the 12,500 after these investigations, because at one point she stopped working because she was over age. We discovered that after she had already started working. So the duration of the investigations, as I said, I think we have already concluded. All we are now waiting for is to communicate and also just pay the other one, and also just give her what is due to her for the period that she had worked under internship program. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your response, you have stated that one of the interns beneficiary could not be paid, and investigations have verified that that person was overage. Would you kindly share with this August House, and through this August House, what the age requirement is for one to be eligible to participate in that internship program, and what the future is? Because I remember you saying that one of the programs you found to be helpful to the youth. What's the future of that program? Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The age is between 18 to 35. And I want also to state that we had launched this same program. As you've just rightly put it, it's a very good program. Under the National Youth Development Strategy, we have the internship, apprenticeship, and the volunteer program. So on the 7th of December, together with our colleagues from the UNDP, we had launched this program, and we had advertised the program. So for now, we've been looking for about 2,000 interns, because the money for the 2,000 is readily available. But we are also talking to the cooperating partners, the private sector, to also join in and assist us with resource mobilization so that we can add the numbers. So as I'm talking to you now, we received the overwhelming applications from the young people in every district. We received about 36,500 applications, and we are only looking for only 2,000. That tells you that there's a lot of unemployment levels that we had inherited. But as new Dawn administration, obviously, we are doing everything possible to make sure that we alleviate the unemployment levels amongst the youth. So right now, our officers are busy now scrutinizing these applications in every district, and I can confirm that every district really participated in the program. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Masaiti.
Thank you so very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, for you to come up with 19,500 and even the duration, the period that you are owing Sharon and Mutinta, you've also given us those responses, meaning you've done your audits, you've done your verifications. these two, Sharon and Mutinta, keep trooping to the Honorable MP, Member of Parliament for Wacha Parliamentary Constituency to ask for their payment. What advice, in short, will you give this Honorable Member of Parliament who has raised this question to give these responses to Sharon and Mutinta? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
In fact, Madam Speaker, that question couldn't have even come from Honorable Member for Wacha because we've been interacting. This is an issue that we've been talking about with him, and they have already advised that have given him numbers so that that affected individual would be able to contact us. So the advice is that let that intern contact us. From the numbers the Honorable Member for Wacha I gave you, I believe that you also shared that number so that we can finish this issue before we start another program.
The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. It's very true, Honorable Madam Speaker, that I've been conversing with the Minister of Sport, Youth and the Arts over the same matter. But the question, Honorable Madam Speaker, was submitted to Parliament or to your office before we started conversing and before we started talking. Madam Speaker, a follow-up question. I would just want to know the response that the Minister has given to Honorable Kampyongo, that the age group is supposed to be between, is it 18 and 35? For the interest of my office as a Member of Parliament and the general public out there, because this is in public domain, the youth that was, or a Zambian citizen that was found to be over age, how old was that Zambian? Because the duration is 18 to 35, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much. For the interest of the Member of Parliament and the people listening out there. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Madam Speaker, I may not be able to tell the age of that particular individual, but I think what is clear is that she's over 35. So when we say that it's between the age of 18 to 35, when we are talking about over age, someone should be above 35 years. She can be 100 or 2,000, but as long as she's over 35.
It's clear that the question has been overtaken by events, but I'm sure the Honorable Member of Parliament for Wacha can be able to follow up on these two. There are only two members, youths, who have not been paid. I'm sure you can have this matter concluded as soon as possible. The Honorable Member for Kabwata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Kawata an opportunity to ask a question. I just wanted to find out, Honorable Minister, for the sake of clarity, wanted to find out how much money is it that you pay for these interns? Because we want to know exactly the amounts that these interns are receiving. Because without knowing the exact amount, I think it leaves us in an opportunity where we will not be able to know how much money is supposed to be paid to these people.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In fact, Madam Speaker, we are coming to this House to render a ministerial statement on the National Youth Development Strategy that encompasses empowerment programs like the internship itself. But answering the question, previously they were being given 1,500 kwacha, but I want to say that the next program will also be giving between 1,000 to 2,500 kwacha per individual per month.
Thank you. We move to the next question. The Honorable Member for Gwembe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the good people of Gwembe, question number 1118.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Member for Gwembe, Honorable Simuzingiri, who wishes to ask the Minister of Energy whether the government has any plans to electrify the Kariba Lake shores from Siavonga to Sinazongwe via Gwembe in order to foster tourism development. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, what the estimated cost of the project is. Madam Speaker, we answer as follows. A, yes, the government of the Republic of Zambia, through the Rural Electrification Authority, REA, has plans to electrify Kariba Lake shores. B, government, especially the New Dawn government, is aware and recognizes the sacrifices that the people of Gwembe, Siavonga, and Sinazongwe made during the construction of the Kariba Dam. To this effect, the Rural Electrification Authority will conduct feasibility studies in the fourth quarter of 2023, that is this year. This will inform and ascertain the costs and timelines of the implementation of the project. C, the estimated cost of the project will be established once the feasibility studies are conducted. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Gwembe, do you have any supplementary questions?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is nice to have the New Dawn government, which can acknowledge really the sacrifices. Minister, thank you so much. Our people, Minister, have been going to Dubai to go and enjoy those islands and beautiful places, forgetting that we have action on the stretch from Siavonga to Sinazongwe. If it's enhanced in the manner that, Minister, you have indicated, we'll have a lot of forex coming from that area. Thank you so much. And I'm a very happy member of Parliament, by the way.
Since it was not a question, it was a comment. I'm sure the Honorable Acting Minister has taken note of that. The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for an opportunity given to ask a follow-up question. Honorable Minister of Energy, indeed we are very happy as the people of the Valley for an opportunity that you want to accord us with.